Good morning. Today I want to tell you a story about how I became fascinated with Andy Griffith as a bad guy. We all know Andy Griffith as Andy Taylor, the lovable, kind, compassionate sheriff of Mayberry. But this story begins back in 1982. And before I get any further, please like, please subscribe. Thanks for watching, and we love y'all. Okay, so how did I become fascinated with Andy Griffith as a bad guy? In 1982, we lived in Flowville, Georgia. That's a small town, well, naturally, in Georgia. And when I say small town, okay, Flowville was so small, we had one convenience store. That's it. There's a post office, but we had a convenience store. My daddy had a 1953 green Chevrolet truck, and it was beautiful on the outside. It needed some work on the inside. Sometimes it went without a problem. Other times we had to work around a little bit, but still, he had this beautiful 1953 green truck. And he didn't drive it to work very much. So Mama drove it. And it was me and my brothers. I have an older brother who's a year older, and I have a younger brother who is 9 years younger. So on this particular day, I think we were probably buying groceries. I can't really be sure. I know it was, the only thing that I really remember is that it was a beautiful, warm day. I don't know if it was summer. It probably was, though, because it probably was in the middle of the week. I don't know. Can't really remember that. But it was a beautiful day. The sun was shining, and I felt like it was warm. Well, we were out in that truck, and I figured we were going to buy groceries. And we would go to Jackson to buy groceries. And this was back when shopping still took place on the square. Y'all ever wonder why I'm so obsessed with these towns with a square? When I was a kid, I grew up in towns where they actually shopped on the square. And in Jackson, they had two grocery stores. And one was not much more than a convenience store that was just a little bit bigger. It had aisles in it, and it was used as a grocery store, but it was very small. Across the street was the bigger grocery store, which was still not a chain. It was, I don't remember what it was called. It was a small grocery store. I figured that's what we were out doing that day. More than likely we were gone to buy groceries. Or we probably had gone over to visit my aunt and uncle who lived in Jackson. We lived in Flowville and they lived in Jackson, which wasn't far away. So as we were driving around, Mama noticed that somebody was following us. At least it looked like somebody was following us. And it got to the point where she got a little, at first she didn't tell us. Because, you know, I was about 12. So my brothers were 13 and 3. So she didn't say anything to us. But she started taking erratic turns, places that we didn't know why she was turning. So finally, we wondered why she's doing this. And she said, I think that car's following us. So we were a little worried, a little bit upset because, why was a car following us? So she pulled up in the grocery store parking lot, the larger grocery store, because there were people around. And we were always taught you pull up where there's people around. So she pulled into the grocery store parking lot, and she got out. She confronted the man. Well, the man got out, and he said, I'm not following you for anything bad. This is not a bad thing. He said, we're making a movie, and it's called Murder in Coweta County. He said, and we're looking for a green truck. Now, the truck needed to be a 1948 I think it needed to be a 1948. Ours was a 1953. Well, the man told Mama, he said, this truck, it's pretty close. It's almost there. It's almost perfect. And he said, yeah, he started explaining this movie stars Andy Griffith and Johnny Cash and June Carter Cash, and y'all would all be welcome on the set. And you could watch the filming of the movie. He said, and they talked for a little while, back and forth, discussed it. They were going to pay us a little bit of money to use the truck and things like that. But then he said, you know what? He said, this will never work. He said, are you sure it's a 1953? Mama said, yeah, I'm sure. He said, it'll never work. He said, because there's a car buff, a truck lover out there who will know it's not a 1948. So that kind of ended the deal there. He said goodbye, and he went his way, and we went ours. But that little encounter put that movie in my mind. And it made me, it's always been fascinating. What was fascinating more than anything was that Andy Griffith was going to be the bad guy. And I just couldn't imagine him being the bad guy. So the made-for-TV movie came out about a year later. And yes, we watched it. I own that movie. I own the book because the movie came from a book. So it's a true account, something that truly happened. It takes place in Coweta County and Meriwether County. And a lot of the names of the different towns around I recognize now, but I didn't then. So this is the beginning of a series of videos that I'm going to do where eventually I'm going to tell the story. But to start with, I want to talk to you about the characters. But this is the beginning. This is why I'm fascinated with Andy Griffith as a bad guy. He played the part perfectly. And it was amazing because Andy Griffith, he's Andy Taylor. He's Opie's dad. He's Matlock. He's always the good guy. Well, not this time. That's going to end the story today. Please like. Please subscribe. Thanks for watching. And we love y'all. I want to make an addendum here. The movie Murder in Coweta County is currently on Tubi TV. So if you want to follow along and know what I'm talking about and understand what's going on, if you got Tubi TV, look it up and watch it. Now the other way is to get the book, which I highly recommend because I personally believe the book is better than the movie because that's just always my personal opinion. The book is better than the movie. It was written, well, it was published the first time in 1976. It was written by Margaret Ann Barnes. And I have my copy on the Kindle now, so I think you can get it on the Kindle if no other way. And I'm not affiliated with either of these. I'm not going to make any money. That doesn't matter. This is just so if you want to know what I'm talking about, you can watch it or you can read it.